Jeff Conaway pulled a muscle rehearsing the dance scene in this episode, but went on with the show.
You're a vampire.
Boyd makes his first appearance as Reverend Jim in episode 8. This is one of the few episodes to spotlight Randy Carver's character, John. To be played by Las Vegas entertainer Tony Clifton. Guest star Ruth Gordon earned an Emmy Award for her performance in this episode. Obsessive girlfriend in episode 12. Jeffrey Tambor, who plays Congressman Walter Griswold in this episode, was originally considered for the role of Alex. The wheelchair-bound woman in the hospital was played by Jeff Conaway's sister, Michelle. Episode 15 was inspired by writer Earl Pomerantz's own Ill-Fated Goldfish. Look for the classic scene where Alex shares his theory about why God created Louie. The little girl named Mary Lou in the spelling bee scene is Mary Lou Henner's real-life niece, Suzanne. Learn what Alex's name means in Latka's native language in episode 18. Guest star Eileen Brennan earned an Emmy nomination for her performance in this episode. Louis represents himself and has a fool for a lawyer in episode 63. George Wendt guest stars as an exterminator in episode 64. Look for the classic scene with Alex in a green shirt and a catcher's mask while dancing the can-can. Elaine befriends an agoraphobic artist in episode 66. Tony receives an Emmy Award in, but not for, episode 67. Al Lewis, who played Grandpa on The Munsters, makes a cameo appearance in this episode. The romantic tension between Alex and Elaine is put to the test in the classic Europe episode. Andy Kaufman shows his comedic range as several different characters in this classic episode. Martin Short guest stars as a TV executive in episode 71. Episode 72 is one of Rhea Perlman's personal favorites. Barbara Babcock, who won an Emmy for her recurring role as Grace Gardner on Hill Street Blues, guest stars in this episode. Julia DeVito, Danny DeVito's real-life mother, reprises her role as Louie's mother in this episode. Latka Gravis's alter ego, Vic Ferrari, is back in episode 80. Carol Kane, who reprises her role as Simca, won an Emmy Award for her performance in this episode. Reverend Jim adopts a 10-year-old boy in episode 82. Louise Lasser, star of Mary Hartman, returns as Alex's ex-wife in episode 83. Ted Danson guest stars as a hairstylist in episode 84. National Football League Hall of Famer Bubba Smith guest stars in this episode. Look for the classic scene where Jim holds forth at the high society cocktail party. Dr. Joyce Brothers guest stars as herself and Latka's therapist in episode 87. Look for the classic wrecking ball scene in episode 88. Louie's predecessor as dispatcher is actor J. Pat O'Malley, who was Rob Petrie's father on The Dick Van Dyke Show. Marcia Wallace, who played Carol on The Bob Newhart Show, guest stars as herself in this episode.